night guides me.
5,
Empowers
4,
me.
3, 2, 1.
So beam up first. Tank gets hit by like a big hit right as the beam goes off. Usually like that. Luckily he has 10% extra HP. What we're looking for is this burning shadow debuff and the collapsing night. Those are the two main things. Spell. We need to healing button, so I usually always make sure I have a totem ready. And then I just totem into chain heals if I'm running totemic. So we do that, we totem, put down my other totem, and then we chain heal, and then they're all gone. Obviously it's different for every healer, but the idea is the same. We're gonna have big healing ready, and then we have these collapsing nights, so as soon as this beam's over, I'm just gonna make sure that when she casts collapsing night, I'm moving, because as long as you're moving when it's cast, if it's cast on you, you'll be able to walk out of it before it does any damage to you. And you also want to try not to put them right next to the boss. Now we have this again, we drop a thing. We need to heal these ones up quick because we have to leave the boat. I'm just gonna and then Riptide the last person that has the debuff. And then we just fly away. We can grab an orb while we're out here. And then we start flying back. And then same thing, we're gonna have collapsing night first, so I'm gonna position a little further away. Get a little bit of healing, because then right after we're gonna have this. I'm moving while it drops, and I only get hit once, and that's just because I stopped. And then we have the Dispel. We're gonna Dispel, drop a totem, chain heal, and we're watching the beam. And then our totem kind of carries us through it. Try to work on getting everybody topped up before this next Burning Shadows. For this one, just drop, we can just Spirit Link, and then a totem. That time we weren't prepared for the collapse. That's okay. We had Spirit Link down, so it was pretty easy. We are going to have to walk into this, I think. Yeah, it looks like we are. I'm just going to have to stand in it for a second. Beam goes away. Press the defensive in it. Spell, totem.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Riptide the person that had the healing absorb still on them, and then we walk away. And now we just fly down. In Mythic Plus, at least, you don't have to go up there again. And that's it for the first boss. Easy peasy. Alright, things we're watching on this boss. Dark Orb, we want to send it down this pathway. Even if it gets sent in a good direction like this, straight, it's going to still do a lot of damage towards the end. But it's definitely not deadly, so we don't need to overuse things. So here I'm probably just going to use stuff like Healing Stream Totem. And then the Shadow Decay is what really does a lot of damage. So we're going to drop another totem for this. It's like a Nature Swiftness. Use my defensive. This is... The Shadow Decay is what's going to do the most damage. And as you get later in the fight, there's going to be Shadow Decays that overlap at the same time as damage. That's what's going to like really hurt. So you're going to want to save stuff for that. We have another Dark Orb. Just move out of the way. This one's going to overlap pretty well with Shadow Decay. We're going to get hit by the Orb, and then the Shadow Decay is going to go off. We're going to top everybody off real quick. Oh. Press another defensive. I'm just going to be spamming chain heals into this, and then pressing my totem. There we go. And now we don't need to do anything. Like, once that's over, once the Shadow Decay is over, we do not need to, like, panic heal anybody anymore. We just need to make sure everyone's full health by the time the Shadow Orb pops again. And then now what I'll do is probably save Spirit Link for this next Shadow Decay, so I'll just kind of slowly get everybody topped up. With Riptides and Healing Stream Totem. We'll drop a Healing Stream Totem now. A Healing Rain. And then this is like the biggest overlap where you get the Orb and the Shadow Decay pretty much simultaneously. So we'll Spirit Link right about now. Right as the Shadow Orb pops. And then I'm not going to use Ascendance, but I am going to use Ancestral, Ancestral Guidance. Just to help out. And then now for the next Shadow Decay, if we get it, we're going to use Ascendance. Put the totem down. Get a Flame Shock and a few Lava Bursts on the boss before we have to worry about anything. He's at a slight angle, so we want to be right here.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And now we Ascendance. I use that just and then because the boss is dying, we'll just also drop a Healing Tide Totem. Pretty much just use everything that we have left. And then there we go. So it's mostly the Shadow Decays that you need to be thinking the Dark Orbs. But the Dark Orbs can affect, you know, how difficult it is. Oh yeah, we're doing trash here. Okay, so when pugging this boss, sometimes you might have to do the bombs as a healer, but a lot of the time you shouldn't be. So default to not doing it, and then if you don't see people picking them up, then you probably do want to help. But usually people are pretty good about it. We're healing here is people that get hit by this right here, that you do want to heal them because they usually take a small hit. But this erosive spray is like the main thing we're cooldowning for and stuff. So like I'm going to use Healing Tide, and then we're just throwing in a few chain heals. And the reason you don't necessarily want to help with the bombs is because this dot still lasts the whole duration of the bomb. So if you can't be moving and healing, it's pretty rough because our next erosive spray already happens so soon. So we have 5 seconds until the next one. This one we're just going to drop a Healing Stream Totem, and then maybe we'll use like Ascendance here. So I'll go ahead and pop Ascendance. And then we're just throwing in a few chain heals. You don't need to overheal people, so you don't need to be like spamming into it, but you do want to make sure that you're keeping people healthy because they're going to continue taking after the fact, even after the cast is finished, so that's something to keep in mind. Curious if they're going to end up patching it, but at least for now they haven't. You can literally just fly directly to the end, so I can just skip everything here and just fly straight to where the boss ends up going at the end. You start getting this debuff as long as you make it in time before it times out. Which have a few, you know, vigor, and you can throw your little speed boost. You just land right here by these torches or by this guy, and you will be all good. And then you just sit here and wait for the boss. And then what you're doing here is you can actually tag the boss. So if you have something like Flame Shock or Moonfire, Purge the Wicked, stuff like that, you can tag him with it real quick just to help out. And then this phase it's pretty much the same, but there's a little bit more damage going out overall, because the erosive spray happens. It happens less frequently if I remember correctly, but you have these expel webs or spinneret strands which target players and will do a large of 2 players. So these guys right here are going to take extra damage, so we just make sure Riptide's on them. Maybe throw out like a healing wave or healing surge, and then when they break the web, when they walk out of it, it's going to do damage to the entire group. Now we have this erosive spray coming up, so we're going to get ready for that. I don't really have much to use on it, so we're just going to drop a Healing Stream Totem, and then maybe a Spirit Link in melee. The mage is a little bit away, so I just Spirit Link the melee group, and then I focus healing on the mage. And if I wanted to, I could even chain heal him here, and it'll bounce off of me and go back into melee, so that probably would have been the best thing to do instead of single target healing him. Help with the orbs real quick. Then we have the next erosive spray coming up. This one we have Ascendance for, so we're going to use that. Drop a Healing Stream Totem right now just to kind of get caught up. And then we do Ascendance as we go into it. Drop another Healing Stream Totem since the boss is going to be dead soon. You don't need to save it. And then now we have the Spinneret Strands coming out right after this. As far as I know, healers do not get targeted by that. So you don't ever have to worry about it. But I could be mistaken. Oh, that was rough. Now we have this Erosive Spray. We're going to save Healing Tide Totem for it. So we're just going to drop and then as it starts, we'll drop Healing Tide. And then we're just kind of spamming chain heals into it without running out of mana. This boss likes to bug out and not stop at 60%, so you do want to be careful, because sometimes he'll go down to 59. It's just a bug, I think, with like spell queuing or something. I don't know exactly how it works or why it's happening, but like here we're going to be careful with mana just in case he doesn't decide to stop at 60%. Drop a Healing Rain. He's doing another Erosive. Mage is a little bit away, but if I chain heal him, it'll bounce to me and then bounce into melee. So I can kind of be the you know, the middle point of reaching the melee. Here we're running pretty low on mana. So what I'll do is not worry about healing myself. Okay, there we go. So he stopped at 59.5. That's it.